Holding space is about showing up authentically and creating safety in the moments that matter most. From parenting littles to navigating friendships and partnerships, I reframe tantrums, conflicts, and messy feelings as invitations to connection. I'm Julia Clark, a psychotherapist and play therapist with over 30 years of experience walking alongside children, families, and the people who care for them. Each episode explores the building blocks of emotional literacy, co-regulation, and boundaries, while honoring the intergenerational stories we carry within. Blending science with lived wisdom, I believe growth is playful, healing is possible, and we are all learning together. Hi, I'm Julia, and together we're holding space. Have you ever said to your child, "Are you even listening to me?" Maybe their eyes glaze over mid-sentence, or they suddenly can't hear your voice, even though 5 minutes ago they heard the sound of a cookie wrapper from 2 rooms away. It can feel frustrating, sometimes even disrespectful. But what if selective hearing isn't defiance at all? What if it's dysregulation? Today we're looking at how the nervous system literally changes the way we hear when we don't feel safe, and how understanding this can change the entire tone of our relationships. The science of safety and sound. Dr. Porges, creator of Polyvagal Theory, has spent decades studying how our bodies and brains respond to cues of safety and danger. He discovered something fascinating. When our nervous system perceives threat, real or imagined, it changes how our middle ear muscles function. That means under stress, our body physically filters sound differently. When we feel safe, those muscles help us pick up human voices, especially the tones of connection, like warmth, softness, and melody. But when our body detects danger, those same muscles tighten and tune in instead to low background frequencies, the sounds of potential threat, rumbling, shouting, slamming doors. So in other words, safety lets us hear connection. Threat tunes us into survival. So when a child or an adult seems to have selective hearing, what might actually be happening is that their nervous system is tuned for protection, not for connection. What's happening in the nervous system? Let's break it down. When we sense safety, the ventral vagal system is active. We can engage, make eye contact, listen, empathize, and connect. When we sense danger, the sympathetic system takes over, our fight and flight response. We get reactive, defensive, or distracted. And if the stress feels overwhelming, we drop into the dorsal vagal system, the body's freeze or shutdown state. That's when people go silent, withdraw, or, as we often see in kids, appear to tune out. If this feels familiar, you might remember episode 27, where we talked about flipping your lid and how the Safe and Sound Protocol, SSP, developed by Dr. Porges, can help repattern these states and support our nervous system's ability to return to safety. The same understanding applies here. When the nervous system doesn't feel safe, the body can't engage in connection, including listening. What this looks like in real life. At home, you ask your child to get ready for school, they don't respond. You ask again, still nothing. Your tone sharpens. Suddenly they shout back, "I heard you." Here's what might have happened. The initial request hit their nervous system when it was already under stress, maybe from a bad morning or a rough sleep. Their auditory system filtered your voice as background noise. Then, as your tone got sharper, their body shifted further into defense. No one's regulating, everyone's reacting. Now, imagine this instead. You pause, take a breath, and kneel beside them. Your voice softens. You place a gentle hand on their shoulder and say, "Hey, looks like this is hard to focus this morning. Want to take a breath together before we get ready? Suddenly, their eyes lift. They hear you because safety just walked into the room. In the classroom, a teacher notices a student who never listens. She raises her voice, thinking she needs to get his attention. But his nervous system reads the loud tone as threat, so he shuts down even more. The teacher tries something new. She lowers her tone, steps closer, and speaks quietly. I can see you're having a hard time staying with the group. Want to take a few breaths with me before we start again? That shift from command to connection changes everything. Safety opens the ears. With a partner. During an argument, your partner looks away. You say, "You're not even listening." But what's really happening is their nervous system has gone into protection. They're not ignoring you. They literally can't process your voice through the noise of their stress. In that moment, the kindest thing you might do is not to repeat your point, but to pause, take a breath, and say softly, "This feels really big. Let's take a moment." That's not disengagement. That's co-regulation. In the playroom, a child immersed in sand play doesn't respond when I ask a question. Instead of repeating myself, I watch their body language. Their breathing is shallow, their eyes a little glazed. I know their system has gone into a protective state, so I match their pace. I soften my tone. I don't demand attention. I offer presence. Within a few moments, their breath deepens, their shoulders relax, and they start speaking. The listening returns when safety does. The healing power of tone. This is why tone matters more than words. The human voice carries cues of safety, what Dr. Porges calls prosody. It's that sing-song rhythm, the lit, the gentleness that says, "You're safe here." When we speak with prosody, steady pace, warm tone, melodic rhythm, we're not just communicating information. We're regulating the nervous system of the person in front of us. That's co-regulation in action. You might think of it like tuning an instrument. When one string vibrates softly, the next one begins to resonate in harmony. Our nervous systems do the same thing. Gentle practices for everyday listening. Here are a few small but powerful ways to bring this awareness into your daily life. 1. Change your posture before your tone. Lower your body to your child's level or sit beside your partner before speaking. Your body language communicates safety faster than your words. 2. Lead with curiosity, not command. Instead of, "Why aren't you listening?" try, "What's feeling hard to hear right now?" 3. Use breath as your first tool. One slow exhale before you speak can change the entire nervous system climate of the moment. 4. Practice soft starts. Begin conversations with gentle tone and presence. Safety in the first few seconds determine whether listening is possible. 5. Remember that regulation is contagious. So is dysregulation. When we bring calm into a space, we offer others the chance to join us there. A mom I worked with told me this: "My son never seemed to hear me until I was yelling. It drove me crazy. But after learning about Polyvagal Theory, I realized he wasn't ignoring me. He was overwhelmed. Now, instead of shouting, I take a breath, walk over, and put my hand on his back. Then I say, 'Hey, buddy, I need your eyes for a second.' He looks up almost every time now." Her tone didn't just change his behavior. It changed his biology. It brought both their nervous systems back into connection. Why this matters. When we understand that listening depends on nervous system state, we stop labeling behavior as disrespectful or lazy. We start seeing it as communication. And that shift from judgment to curiosity changes everything. Because the moment we stop asking, what's wrong with you? And start asking, what's happening inside you? We become the safe base that allows connection to return. Take a deep breath with me. Inhale. Exhale. Think about someone in your life who sometimes tunes you out. Maybe it's your child, your partner, or even yourself. Ask gently, what might their nervous system be hearing right now? How can I make my tone a cue of safety and not stress? And maybe most importantly, what would help me feel safe enough to listen fully to? Because listening begins with regulation. And every time we choose calm over control, we open the door to connection. So next time someone doesn't seem to hear you, pause before you take it personally. Remember, it might not be selective hearing. It might be a nervous system doing its best to stay safe. The most powerful way to be heard is to speak safety first. This is part of our Holding Space series, where we learn to see behavior through the lens of the nervous system and meet it with compassion, curiosity, and connection. Thank you for being here and for holding space with me. If the content of this podcast really resonated with you and you'd like to go even deeper, I'd love to invite you to step into this work more fully. Beyond the podcast, there are many ways that we can connect. Individual therapy for your child, parent coaching or support for yourself, and deeper IM sessions that explore intergenerational patterns. Additionally, I also offer webinar workshops and weekend retreats for parents, classes, intensive trainings and supervision for therapists, and large group presentations for educators or school presentations. Each are designed to help us hold space for the next generation of children in safe, attuned, and meaningful ways. You can learn more and explore what fits best for you at clarity.family.